What's up, everybody? Kyler's 2.0 here, and welcome back to another video. I know I'm not 2000.0 yet, it's still the good old Kyler's 2000. But we are talking about NXT 2.0. We're reviewing the first episode of the brand new version of NXT, and I just thought that'd be a little joke to throw in there, and I'm the only person who probably finds it funny. But yeah, let's head straight into it. NXT 2.0. The rebrand, the relaunch of NXT started last night, and surprisingly enough, it was an okay show. I actually thought it was a pretty decent show. There were some good bits, some parts where I was like, but yeah, overall it was an okay show. But before I actually get into the matches and properly review it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. The show kind of opened up with the 4 competitors in the fatal 4-way to crown the new NXT champion, just kind of talking about the match and kind of building it up. And it was actually, I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was a fresh, kind of good way to start the show, just them cutting a quick, kind of like 10-second promo, going to the next one, and it ended in with LA Knight, who ended up getting interrupted by Braun Breaker, which is one of the worst wrestling names I've ever heard. But yeah, Knight then challenged Braun to a match. Of course, Braun Breaker is the son of Rick Steiner, so yeah. And you could tell from the match, his style is very influenced by Rick and even Scott from pre-Papa Pump days. He reminded me a lot of them, so I actually quite liked this match. I liked seeing Braun. Just why not call him like Braun Steiner? He's a Steiner. Just let him keep the Steiner name. I don't know what the point in changing it. It's not even like they change it to a good name, Breaker or Breaker with 2 Ks. Not really a fan of the name, but he did impress me in this match. I did like him. As I said, reminded me of Scott and Rick from when they were the Steiner brothers, pre-Papa Pump Scott Steiner, and of course his dad Rick Steiner. Just throwing people around with suplexes, clotheslines. So yeah, I did kind of enjoy it. And he got an upset win over LA Knight. And I feel like he is someone they plan on building NXT 2.0 around. Of course, kicks it off, the first match of this new era of NXT. He gets the win, and we'll get to the ending of the show in a bit. But spoiler alert, he does kind of close out the show. Imperium then beat Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs. Like Brooks Jensen. Like Brooks just doesn't sound right as a first name. I know I'm going to complain a lot about name. Like it was just like Brooke Jensen, but it's Brooks Jensen. To me, it doesn't sound right. But Imperium got the win over Jensen and Briggs. Jensen and Briggs kind of had a promo as well that played as they were making the entrance. They seem like a decent big man team. I believe Josh Briggs was in Evolve and worked places like that. I know I'm not looking at the camera because I'm looking down. I'm just double checking. Josh Briggs is the guy I was thinking of who was in Evolve. Yes, he was. He was a big part of Evolve, signing then for WWE. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't really know. I think he was in the breakout tournament. I don't really know much else that he's done in NXT. This is my first time seeing Brooke Jensen, and it seemed like it was their debut as a team. And as I said, they look like they could have potential. But Eichner and Marcel got the win, as you kind of would have expected. I didn't really expect to see 2 back-to-back upsets. B-Fab then in her in-ring debut defeated where's it gone? Katarina Cortez. Again, just a short match. Wasn't really biggest fan of this match, but it did only go 1 minute 19 according to Cage Match. So yeah, and that's just something I noticed looking at this Cage Match here. A lot of short matches. The longest match was the NXT title match, and that only went 10 minutes. So, kind of a lot of short matches, which again you kind of expect from where the direction they're going for this new era NXT. Um, kind of focusing on kind of greener talent, not really experienced, polished talent. So it kind of makes sense keeping them in short matches and not having them try work too long and exposing them. But yeah, B-Fab to get the win and put a match, kind of start cutting a promo. Out came Legado del Fantasma, and they kind of went back and forth a bit between the two factions there in B-Fab and the Hit Row against going back and forth with Legado. And I forgot to mention before the match, B-Fab again kind of cut a promo, basically saying she's kind of talking and saying, yeah, it's her in-ring debut, kind of building it up a bit. Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter defeated Jiggy Dolan and JC Jane in a by DQ in 1 minute 50. Of course, before this, they kind of teased a new version of Mandy Rose, which we then did see. Of course, Mandy interfered, and that's how Casey and Caden won by DQ. Out came Siri, as she used to be known, and yes, Saray came in, made a save, and then a 6-woman tag match took place, for which ended up being the second longest match on the card, just in under 6 minutes 27 seconds, with Mandy Rose getting the win in that one, of course, with her new look. Again, not really special to talk about here. It's just kind of a match that happened. It was good to see Saray on this because I'm a big Saray fan from her days in Japan, and I really haven't seen that much of her stuff in NXT, so it was good for, because I didn't, towards the end of the old era of NXT, I wasn't watching it weekly. I'd watch it every now and again, but for me, like, prime NXT is like 2013-ish to like 2017, 2018 maybe. So wasn't that when like Gargano and Ciampa and all were doing their stuff? So like, to me, that is prime NXT. Since NXT moved to 2 hours and moved to the USA network, that's when I started to fall off. Not when I kind of stopped watching weekly NXT as much as I used to. To me, that like prime 1 hour on the network, that is prime NXT to me. The 2 hours on the USA, and no, it felt different. It didn't feel like the NXT that I love. But anyway, moving on. Ridge Holland defeated Drake Maverick in just like 1 minute, 1 minute 49 seconds. Again, just they're really trying to build up Ridge. The last couple of months, he got injured, came back. They're still trying to build him up, and he got the win here over Drake. The Diamond Mines, Brutus Creed and Julius Creed defeated Trevor Skelly and Dan Jarman. Again, just a quick dominant match to put over the Creed brothers. After the match, Stokely gets on the mic and introduces the newest member of the Diamond Mine, which is Ivy Nile. And then Kushida comes out and says, "You talk too much." And basically, next week, Kushida, Roderick Strong, NXT Cruiserweight Championship match, which on paper sounds awesome. Whether or not it is with this new era of NXT, and if they're like having to work an NXT style match, or if they have to work a WWE style match, it remains to be seen. So yeah, on paper this could be good. Whether they're actually allowed to go out and be as good as they could be is a question that needs to be answered once we see it next week. Yeah, Tommaso Ciampa then defeated LA Knight, Pete Dunne, and Von Wagner to become NXT champion. He finally got Goldie back. And you may have noticed I said Von Wagner instead of Kyle O'Reilly. That is because earlier in the night, Kyle O'Reilly gets attacked backstage by Holland and Pete Dunne, and Wagner was the one who kind of ran in to make the save, and Regal awarded him by giving him O'Reilly's spot. So yeah, a big spot to put Von Wagner in on his debut. Ciampa, of course, does get the win. This was an okay match. Originally thinking when it's Ciampa, O'Reilly, Dunne, and Knight, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. But of course, O'Reilly gets replaced by Wagner, and again, he's kind of a new guy, so he's not as developed as O'Reilly, and O'Reilly, of course, is awesome. But yeah, this match, it was just okay. It wasn't really anything special. It did feel like a WWE main event, and that's kind of what I meant by Kushida and Strong. I'm not sure if they wrestle in NXT style or WWE style. This felt like a main event. This is like a match I could see main event in Raw. This is a match I could see, main event in Extreme Rules. It's like it was a WWE style fatal 4-way. Compared to, like, if you think back to NXT main events and takeovers, that they had their own different style, and this this match, like, was a WWE style match. But as I said, it was an okay match. I won't call it terrible. I won't say it was bad, but I don't know if I'd go out my way to rewatch it. Yeah, Ciampa anyway gets the win and regains Goldie once again. He pinned LA Knight to get the victory. And then Index wedding time, and normally when it comes to wrestling weddings, I'm like, I don't really care. But I actually thought this was a good segment. But before I get into that, earlier on the night again, the reason I left this I didn't talk about it during the show when it happened, just because I can't remember exactly where it's slotted in. But there's a backstage segment with it was Ciampa and not Ciampa, it was Gargano and the Cameron Grimes and one of the other groomsmen. In comes Austin Theory. Austin Theory is back. He ran away, but now he's found his way home. It's a good reuniting moment between him and Gargano. They hug. And Theory says he's brought a priest. And then comes Damian Priest. And Gargano's like, you don't know he's not a real priest? And Priest is like, yeah, I know. Says to Theory, he's right, I'm just here for the party. And starts drinking at the open bar. So, yeah, Damian Priest did make an appearance. Then we get to the actual wedding. You have, Io Shirai and all people walking out to sit at ringside. Chris Young Vets are coming out and they're like, oh, it's a wedding. Something's going to go wrong. I bet the Creed Dexter Loomis does something. And then they're like, to a commercial saying the wedding will be next. Everyone gets in the ring. Johnny Gargano was the star of this segment for me. He's cracking me up. He played the concerned dad guy who doesn't really want his daughter to marry this guy perfectly. He's like, "I Johnny wrestling." Johnny Gargano gives her away, and he's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Candace is there playing the role perfectly as she's embarrassed for Gargano. Yeah. Indy's like reading her vows and says something about Dexter sneaking into her room when Candace and Gargano sleep, and the two of them were just like, "What?" Gargano's like, "When did this happen? Where did this happen? Were we asleep?" And yet there's a part where Nike is asking Austin Theory, "Did he have the ring?" And Theory was like, "Yeah, we're in the ring." And it turns out Ikman Jero was the one holding the rings, and Gargano was just like, "Theory, how do you know him? How do you know him?" And yeah, Gargano just played his role perfectly. He was cracking me up. He's probably like the main reason I loved this segment. I would recommend watching this segment, which I normally wouldn't do for a wedding in wrestling, just for Johnny Gargano. But anyway, continue it on. When it gets to Loomis's time to read the vows, he just puts up his thumb, and the priest then sent to Indy's, oh, he's probably just nervous and all this. And he ended up choking out the priest. But before that, actually, the priest asked, does anyone object? And literally, nearly everyone except for Candace and Gargano sitting around ringside put their hands up. And Loomis just looks around, kind of lifts his jacket pocket up, and you can see an axe and just showing it to everyone, and everyone slowly puts their hands down. So yeah, there's some funny bits that actually made me enjoy the segment. But going back, skipping ahead again, back to where we originally were after Priest. The Priest got choked out by Loomis. Beth Phoenix steps in. Everyone's kind of like, oh no, who's going to do this? And everyone's like, nah. Regal's like, nah, I'm not doing this. Beth Phoenix steps up. She says she got ordained last night in case something like this happened online. And she completed the wedding. And Index got married. And yeah. And then you can, like, kind of, the show's going off the air. You see Ciampa watching it backstage on the screen, and Braun Breaker comes up to him and just, he's like, "Oh, congratulations," and Ciampa's like, "Oh, congratulations," and they kind of stare down. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did put the belt on Breaker straight away. As I said, if they do seem like they have big plans for him, they had him in the opening match, gave him a big upset win over someone who was then in the title match, and then having him close the show with Ciampa, it does feel like that is the direction they're going to go with. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if they want to push this whole new era, this new direction. They do have someone like Breaker just come straight in, break through to the main event scene and get the belt. But yeah, that is it for my NXT 2.0 review. Overall, as I said at the beginning, it was an okay show. Nothing really special match-wise, but I did enjoy Braun Breaker's match, even though I hate the name. The Fatal 4-Way title match was okay as well. And the wedding segment was funny because of Johnny Gargano. And so yeah, as I said, overall, it was a decent show. Nothing special, nothing terrible. But yeah, let me know what you think of the show in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one.